Evening and welcome once again to Gaming Under the Influence. I'm Mike here with Alex, coming to you from GreenDragonCVR in Woodbridge to talk about video games. How are you, buddy?
Oh yeah, I'm doing really good, man. How are you?
I'm pretty good too. Just playing a little bit of Metal Gear Solid 3.
Nice.
After edging out the last bit of Stellar Blade. I'm still at the final boss. It's a pain in the ass. We're gonna need to talk about this one day too, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. Yeah. I've been slowly making my way through Stellar Blade a bit, but I've also been playing a lot of Ocarina of Time for some reason. I guess we just like old games.
I guess so.
It's like comfort food.
They're better.
Yeah.
At least the ones from the 2000s, I think. Not retro, but...
Yeah.
In any case, there's a dumpster fire to discuss today, or perhaps the corpse of a horse we've dug up to kick again. I don't know how you want to frame that one, but Microsoft is... It's the bed again.
Yeah, Xbox is doing some really wacky stuff lately. They're just... I don't even know where to start. Like, if you watched any of our previous videos, we've been saying for years and years that they were kind of going on a stupid course and that we thought things wouldn't... I mean, we've thought they sucked for a while, let's be honest, and we've paraded that, but now you're starting to see the fruits of those sucking labor, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's really coming to light, and
the fruits of that sucking.
It's wild, eh?
Yeah, it's something. I mean, for me, this, you know, I feel like in the past few years, I've gone from being somebody who detested this company in particular for its branding and its alignment with, you know, contemporary political orthodoxy, but I detest all of the corporations equally now. So for me, it's not even just so much an Xbox thing, which of course that is materially what it is. That is what it is in the literal and first place. But I think more than that, it's a lesson about what happens when creatives and financial interests are related to each other in a certain way, which is disadvantageous to the production of good games. Yeah, the
problem starts at the broader like business structure, you know, surrounding all of this crap, right? And that's usually where creatives eventually die. Yeah. And in this case, that's exactly what we're seeing.
Yeah, we you know, Microsoft is like, it's like an attempt to if video games were a cow, they want to milk it for all it's worth.
Oh, for sure, of course.
They want to just rub those teats till they're bloody and dry. That's I think at the end of the day, if your concern is with the production of a, you know, something that tentatively looks like a work of art for the purpose of generating profit, and the people making the thing are entirely subservient to you, you know, you're an instrument. They're an instrument of your business making, business interest, of your profit making. I think then, you know, how could we not expect something like that? Like, how do you know, if you heard Xbox bought Tango Gameworks, did you not think they would close them down? Why would they keep them? For what?
Yeah, and then on the flip side, if they didn't close them down, you think they would make some kind of, you know, live service game too? Like, there's no variable that
wouldn't persist in their current state in any case, right?
At the end of the day, the creativity becomes stifled. Anybody with, you know, any kind of vision just becomes neutered instantly.
It may have been once it was possible for good games to make a lot of money, I think, you know, for the best kind of game to make a lot of money. Back in the day when something like Metal Gear Solid 3 came out, which I was just talking about, right?
Yeah, it would smash sales records.
There was no Fortnite.
It would sell out of stores, and if you didn't pre-order a copy, you might have to wait for another shipment.
That was probably the larger part of the industry, right? There was no mobile gaming, none of these other avenues for making profit, and
that's a big problem.
A company like Microsoft, you know, if you're not moved by your interest in producing something beautiful and good for its own sake, like I'm sure people who have control both of their creative and financial capacities at the same time are, then how could it not unfold this way? You know, let's be realistic, right? Like a company like Tango, the games they make, though we enjoy them, they may sell well relative to other games which are their peers. In the grand scheme of things, they don't make a lot of money compared to what you need to invest.
No, when you're absorbed by a massive company, it's easy.
If you're looking, suppose you had money to invest in a game, and your concern was solely to generate a return, why would you invest in something like Ghostwire Tokyo or Evil Within?
True, yeah.
You know? It's got low monthly active users. There's no avenue for secondary monetization. How many copies could it possibly sell? Something niche like that, these horror games, these, you know, something like Hi-Fi Rush even. And by the way, you gave it away. That may have contributed to the fact that it didn't generate much of a return.
Game Pass. That's like a whole other category.
Yeah, we'll probably touch on that. But I just mean to say, like, you know, in the best case scenario, these guys keep doing exactly what they've been doing and what people love them for. They just don't suit Microsoft's portfolio.
Yeah.
They don't make money the way that the way that Microsoft wants to make money with games.
And even though they could afford to just keep them alive, it doesn't serve them, like you said, it doesn't serve them any purpose because they want to make gangbusters on everything.
Yeah.
Every product becomes, you know, how can we extract freaking
it doesn't
blood
need to,
out of
you know,
friggin' rock,
that's
right?
Why you hear there was one of these guys, I don't know who was it, Matt Booty or Aaron Greenberg, one of these guys talking on Twitter recently about how they need to make more games which have a low, you know, upfront investment and which win them awards and stuff like that, bro. But you don't care about awards. You don't care about none of that stuff.
Contradictory. It's not exactly everything they do.
It's not about it. Let's be real, right? Like, you'd be happy if it cost very little and the returns were great and the marketing was somehow advantageous to your company, right? Like, if it looked like you were doing good.
Lightning in a bottle, like something like Fortnite. Yeah, well, maybe, but making a crap ton of money. Like you're hoping for, you know.
I think ultimately though, like, the lesson that we have to take away from all this is that these two things cannot coexist under the same roof, right?
Yeah.
You can't have a dominant business interest and a subservient creative interest under the same roof.
They want things to be, I guess, consolidated and all, you know.
They're contradictory impulses, buddy.
Yeah.
When the time comes for both to, they can't coexist peacefully because one stakes a claim to the entire house, you know? If the creative interest is subservient to it and it's not fulfilling its function of generating income, then why would you keep it, right? Or even if it was and you could make more doing something else. If you were Microsoft, why would you not make a million Fortnites, bro?
It's easy to close that studio and just, you know, I guess save the money that otherwise it would cost to run.
And Tango was talking about hiring, from what I understand, too, for another project. So it's just doubly disadvantageous.
So they're just
there's no way they're going to keep this.
Yeah,
you know, Arcane Austin. I mean, they just pumped out that terrible service game a little while ago, and that didn't do them any favors. I feel less inclined to lament that closure because you brought that on yourselves. Even if you didn't bring it on yourselves, you brought it on yourselves.
Yeah,
I think you deserve that, bro. You can't make a game like that and expect to, like, for me, I lost all confidence in that developer the moment I heard they took on that kind of project in the first place.
Yeah, it was like kind of the same situation as like Fallout 76. Like, as a person who would play a Fallout game, I was not going to touch Fallout 76 for the very same reasons as Redfall, right?
Yeah, but Tango Gameworks, to me, like, that's a special developer, I think, you know? Started by an industry legend responsible for so many games that, you know,
it really is. Yeah, it's awful and it is sad to see it go, just, you know, regardless of what you think of their games. And I enjoyed them. Like, I mean, I played Ghostwire. I liked Ghostwire Tokyo. I've never actually played the Evil Within. Maybe a good time to.
Evil Within 1 is really good. 2, it's all right. But Evil Within and Ghostwire, I think, are amazing. And
the fact that they even made things that were so drastically different, right?
Yeah.
From Evil Within,
so strange.
Hi-Fi Rush, and you know, Ghostwire. The only one I really did like played.
Evil Within is a masterpiece. I'm willing to call it actually the first one. It's very, very good. Yeah. It's probably Shinji Mikami's best game. Wow. It's worth checking out. Cool. And plus, they also had that artist that was famous for her. I don't know, what was that? The Game Awards appearance. Kami Nakamura, remember the lady?
Oh, yes, I remember her.
Making a new game
she's
right now.
Floating around, right?
Yeah, she's got her own thing going on, thankfully. So
very cool.
Yeah, it's sad, and I think again, like,
it is very sad.
What this demonstrates, man, is the incompatibility of, you know, dominant profiteering with subservient creative interests. It's not possible. One has to be. They either have to coexist in the same individual, or the creative guy has to be the one in charge. Right? You can't. Otherwise, the situation's going to come around, and this is what will happen.
Unfortunately, Microsoft doesn't care about good games.
How could it possibly, though, right? Like,
they don't care about making good games.
It is a profit-generating organization. It doesn't have a human faculty to perceive the beautiful, right?
They're upfront about it now. They'll tell you that, you know, hey, we're not making... we're closing the studios. I think they said because of lack of industry growth.
Yeah.
Like, shut up.
I mean... It, goes without saying that if nobody made any money on anything they made, they wouldn't make it after the fact. But I think the problem here is that, it's not that these kind of games don't make any return. It's that even if they make money, they don't make nearly enough, right? Because the companies...
The expectations are too high and out of whack nowadays.
But again, how could it not be that way? The people calling the shots, their expectations are determined by something outside creative interest. They're market-based, right?
Yeah.
Like, this guy made that much. We want you to make this much for us.
Right.
Why are you making this thing if you can't make that much? they're gonna ask, and they're in charge, and you have no answer. Well, because it's beautiful. Like, you need kinds of things these people do before you get up in the morning for breakfast. It's ridiculous to expect them to, you know, they're monsters, right?
Not gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't think that we can rely on that impulse in people like whoever's running this show, not the talking heads they trot out to you.
No, yeah, it's a disaster.
Yeah.
Xbox is in shambles right now.
It is. It's a disaster.
We've been saying they suck for years, and now they suck even more.
I think so. You know, I hate to say this though, like, who doesn't suck right now, man? Like, how does Sony not have the same problem, right?
Yeah.
I think actually it's kind of funny because when you hear that Sony's shutting down Japan studio, nobody cared. Nobody cared except us.
We seem to be the only people who gave half of it.
Everybody else like, oh,
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, well, they're the same. They did the exact same thing. What, they made Spider-Man so you like them? Like, what's the deal here? I don't understand.
True.
You know?
I mean, we admit that we're not, you know, spiting Xbox over like we're Sony fanboys or anything like that, but just that Xbox is making it really like they're making themselves look like idiots, where Sony's like more covertly doing stupid shit. But
yeah, I think this is just, you know, like I said,
they're going the same path.
It's about the industry. It's about the industry. It's about how making a work of art occurs within an economic structure such as ours, you know?
Basically, AAA is dead, and you've been saying that for probably better part of the last 2 years.
Yeah, we've been talking about that for a while.
Yeah,
definitely.
And now, like, you really starting to see it. Like, I feel pretty strong.
Western AAA in any case.
Yeah, Western AAA is almost dead in the water.
There's a lot of problems with
nothing good.
Japanese AAA too.
Nothing
I think.
worth playing. Honestly,
no, there's
not
that,
worth
playing
at all.
That's self-evident. Like, I don't even think we. But even Japanese AAA, we've talked about this too. Like, is
on the decline a bit.
Square Enix and Capcom, and like, I'm personally disappointed with their most recent games.
Yeah,
even though there's a lot of redeeming characteristics in both of them, you know,
kind of a lesser of two evils kind of thing.
Yeah, their game design is westernized, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you making? Open world Chocobo collection, friggin'. I could complain about that all day, but I just mean to say, like, you know, I think the problem is AAA. Really?
Yeah.
Right? Like, how do we get away from the fact that even where they're doing well financially, their games are not what we want them to be anyways? What I would argue is an integrous work of art, right?
A lot more slim pickings in the AAA scene, for sure.
Honestly, even Stellar Blade, which I like a lot in many ways. I've complained to you about this already. Like, what is with this eclectic hodgepodge of just nonsense mechanics from Western games? You know, you take the side missions, you're running up yellow pass, you're just quick time
I feel
events.
like I didn't think there would be, you know, some of that stuff in there, but it does feel like it leaned in.
What is this? You know, maybe, you know, I don't know if this even qualifies as AAA, but we see here the same kind of, like, what is exerting itself upon the people making these games that causes them to do things like this, right? I think it's the same thing that is causing Microsoft to shut down Company X or Company Y, right? It's the same tendency to measure the work against something other than its own internal logic, its own quality, right? You're thinking what it should be according to somebody else. And if Microsoft's answer is, well, it's not the thing that makes money, we're going to shut it down. These guys here, they land on the fact that, well, maybe the guy buying it in the West would like a bit of an open world map.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's like they're comparing it to other games, saying, well, other games in this genre have this, so we should hit these same things, where, like, I don't think that's a fair comparison.
Yeah, just be more aggressively Souls-like about it, bro. Well, you don't need these nonsense elements.
Yeah.
Like, the sad thing is, like, I'm just got through that, you know? I just played it. I'm still playing it now, and like, my memory of almost everything I've seen in that game is hazy, like the environments and stuff like this.
Yeah, right? You sort of just run through it.
It's just like,
I think the combat,
like an obstacle course.
stands out.
The combat's good.
Combat's really good.
I remember the initial scene where you land on that beach.
Yeah.
I remember, like, the city is Ion there, but of all the places you go and stuff like that, it's all just
blob maps
of like obstacle course style like stuff. And it's not like a FromSoft game, like, determined by its, or even like Hellpoint, which I like to talk about a lot. That Souls like that. It's very much a game about architectural design and noticing landmarks and stuff. It's not like that.
Not like that at all. No.
Yeah. So, and I think in that's sense,
a shame.
It's the case I'm trying to make is that this influence is more pervasive than, like, this is a Microsoft thing, and they're definitely the worst of the bunch, and they're literally nothing other than what we're describing, this tendency.
Yeah.
But this tendency is widespread, and I think it is nothing other than, you know, the way that an external force exerts itself upon the design of a game, or on the studio and forces the game's cancellation, however you want to, you know. It's that nefarious, like, external causality upon the artist, which interferes with the work, right? Or it's even the opportunity to produce it, you know.
Yeah.
That's what this shows me, right? Like, I think, again, like, a Kojima type situation is the hope for AAA, you know? Some billionaire should find some guy and give him a pile of money. Be like, buddy, make a game. Well, this money is nothing to you, whoever you are. Just, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess it's risky. It's definitely risky. But when you get, you know, a guy like Kojima who hasn't failed yet, and even, like, there was almost, you know, a friggin', I don't want to say a hate campaign, but there was a little bit of vitriol when, like, Death Stranding launched, of people saying, like, it was a crap game, like
walking sim,
it's garbage, it's not going to be a hit, like everyone's saying, oh, you know, Kojima's untouchable. It ended up being a hit anyway.
But you know what, man?
But it's always a risk. It's always a risk.
If he didn't generate a massive return, he probably has a cushion of some kind.
Yeah.
He doesn't. You think he's going to close his own studio down? No, he's not.
No, exactly.
He doesn't care about that. He's doing it. He's rich already.
Yeah.
He's been doing. He's 60.
Yeah, he's doing it.
He could have pulled a Gabe Newell or whatever. Who's the Notch? You know what I mean? You could just sell your shit and just retire if you care about that. And the guy's still there. Why? You know, why is he? I saw pictures of him the other day barbecuing with his employees outside.
Yeah, he did the family barbecue party.
Right? Like,
I wanted to go to it so bad.
Me too.
We're just so far away, but
family barbecue.
Just fly in, but
Can we go?
My cousin works here.
Yeah, right. That's what needs to be the case for something to be good. Whether it's at an indie scale or a AAA scale, there needs to be an alignment of creative and financial interest, or the creative one needs to be preponderant. It needs to control the show.
Yeah.
You can't have this other stuff going on, man. Things may work out coincidentally every once in a while, but the formula itself isn't.
Yeah, people don't want to,
right?
Just, you know, play garbage. At the end of the day, they don't want to just play some boardroom garbage game.
A minimum viable product of some kind, right? Like,
yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to play that, and it shows, like, you know.
Yeah. And I think, you know, the funny thing is, man, again, like, look at FromSoft. They're an interesting case because they're owned by Katakawa Corporation. I think also Tencent and Sony have some part in their ownership. But the guy who runs the show is the guy who made all of the director of their games, Miyazaki. It's an interesting case where they publish their own games in Japan, and they only work with publishers outside of Japan, like Bandai Namco and stuff, like Sony, to get their games published.
To get them published outside, yeah.
Right. And they worked with Activision. They worked with a number of people, and they've shown a way to, like, you know, interface with the machinery of the industry, but they're not sold to anybody.
No.
Nobody's like, hey, you Miyazaki, how about you make this, you know, like...
They probably wouldn't even consider themselves businessmen. I don't know, maybe to some degree because they have to be involved in the business aspect, but at the same time,
first and foremost, they're people who make games.
You can tell, their heart is in the right place and they're doing it.
Yeah, their heart is in making a good game.
Yeah,
first and foremost.
Which will make money. It will. It won't make
you Fortnite.
It won't make you
know, it won't make you that kind of money.
It won't make you Genshin Impact, whatever the heck.
It's a respectable job that I think, like, you know, Harvey Smith, who from Arcane Austin, actually.
Right, yeah.
I think he's still around. He probably works at the Leon studio too, but he was saying that, you know, he posted this massive thread about how it's miserable that Arcane Austin is closing. I know I said that they deserve it, but still I sympathize with the man because he made some good games.
Yeah,
right? A lot of people there did work on all of their. They made Prey, actually. Prey was a good game.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's sad what happened to them, truly, that they made something like that. I feel I have like a Remedy relationship with that, you know, where I'm disappointed with what has become of what I had at one time regarded as like such a highly regarded studio to me, anyways. Arcane, but
a lot of them have gone to crap. So what do you do?
He said in his Twitter thread that, you know, it's difficult making these kinds of things. Of course, one of the most difficult things in the world. Something goes wrong every few minutes and this and that. But when it works, it's the purpose of being alive. And I actually think he's right about that. You know, that is the last end of man, to make something beautiful or to know the truth or to do the good. Right?
If you think about it, like, I mean, we're so far away from that, but like, put yourself in their shoe and think about like somebody playing a game that you worked so hard to make, and for like millions of people to say they love it, like that probably like is so thrilling for them. Like, you know what I mean? To have people love the thing that you worked so hard on and made that like
it's
a love
no doubt
project,
satisfying, right? For sure. I think too, though, like it's the only thing you could do as a human being that's not instrumental to something else, right?
Yeah.
There's a few things in the world that make us human, you know, and it's our capacity to know things abstractly, to understand the good and to act for it, or to make beautiful things.
Yeah.
Not like things like a beehive that's intended to serve some biological purpose.
Yeah.
Some useless thing.
Useless,
whose
basically,
only
yeah.
purpose is to be like a massive cathedral that the medievals built. Why'd they build this?
Yeah.
No, it's you can't store anything up there. You know what I mean? It's got no practical purpose. Its purpose is its own self, right? And I think in this respect, he's absolutely right. This is why people should make games. And I'm sure many people don't sit there and say to themselves, I am doing this because autotelic art is important. No, it's not about that.
Yeah.
That is what you're doing. The same way you could say of an animal, it's reproducing. It doesn't say it to itself.
Yeah.
This guy is making something beautiful, you know? His financial interest, if he has one, is subservient to his creative one, and it shows in the work as it comes out of him. It's a public fact about the thing he's made, and I think that's what needs to be true. And it's important for the reason Harvey Smith said. It is the reason people, you know, exist. Maybe it's a bit too abstract for this particular conversation, but he's right?
Yeah.
That's why all of this stuff is important at the end of the day, and why Microsoft is gross. Why it's
yeah.
It literally it subverts one of the highest functions of human intelligence. You know. This one guy I really like, he says, you know, like, there's a reason Christ became incarnate as a carpenter, right? Like somebody making something, somebody imposing form that they devised in their mind on matter outside of their mind. In this like basic act, this is the most fundamental way somebody resembles God. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Who creates things from nothing, right? Like, this is why what Microsoft does is such a perversity.
Yeah, it's gross.
It's gross in that it produces ugly things, but it's also a violence against human nature itself. It's truly disgusting.
And literally nothing good comes out of it.
No,
like even
not.
You know what I mean? It's not even like you can say, hey, but look, this good game came out. No,
it's a sewer.
Nothing,
it's a sewer.
Nothing,
it's a sewer of nothing. The best you can say is, oh, I get stuff for cheap.
Yeah.
Okay. You're an animal.
I mean,
congratulations.
Turning my brain off. Well, you know, like
you get stuff for cheap. Yeah. Commodity service. I don't dispute that. That aligns very well with what when people say, yeah, they're great, but they favor the consumer. Man, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I just told you the money aspect. Me, the consumer. Them, the profiteer. This relationship is it's accidental, right?
Yeah.
Even if it cost me everything I have to play a game that's good, it wouldn't make the game less good.
Yeah.
We're not talking about convenience or, you know, any of these facile things, right? Like imagine you playing games based on if it's convenient for you or costs you less money.
That's stupid.
You know?
Yeah.
Come on.
That's not
a serious conversation,
yeah.
right? Like people like that, they deserve to talk to each other on the internet, I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really like what I take away from this. It's a bad arrangement, man. It's ugly. It will have bad results, and more than that, it's evil at like a theoretical level. It's truly
their games suck, and they've sucked for a while. Nothing, you know.
This prostitutional theory of art, really. Yeah. That's what I would like to think of it as, right? The thing doesn't exist for its own sake. That's
fair.
They're the harem of the boardroom. You know what I mean? They're like, I want this one today, right? Like,
yeah.
You know, it's so that's you know. At least Tango Gameworks, they're free.
That's true. I mean, now I guess they could.
I saw like numerous people calling them out and saying like, "We'll hire you guys. We'll hire you guys."
Yeah, I hope. I mean, I hope.
I bet you somebody like if they just put out a call somewhere and saying, "We don't want to close. Can somebody fund us?" I bet you some guy would fund them, right?
They probably would have to change the name.
Maybe, yeah.
At the very least.
I'd like to think that in the world we live in today, people throw around dumb amounts of money on dumber stuff than that. You know?
Oh yeah.
What could it cost to run a studio with 60 people in it for a couple of years, right?
Apparently, whatever it was is small enough that Microsoft could have funded it for years and years and years, and it wouldn't make a dent.
But again, like when you're a company, like min-maxing is your function, right? It doesn't matter if you're saving $1, you're still gonna shave it away. It's not
true.
You know, it's a black and white kind of thing. Right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, it shouldn't somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know how there was this TV show, The Expanse.
Yeah.
You hear about that before? It was like a sci-fi show. It's all right. It's pretty good. I don't know. I haven't watched the more recent seasons, but what's interesting was it was going to be discontinued, and apparently the Amazon dude, the bald guy, what's his name, Lex Luthor there,
Jeff Bezos,
that guy, he really liked the show, so he just paid for it to be finished.
Oh my
he just paid for them to keep making it, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't understand why these greasy dudes can't patronize the arts a little bit. I think it's good for everybody, right? You must get some kind of tax break for doing something like that. No,
right?
Like,
yeah, probably.
Just,
the hell.
That's the future that I hope for. I think that if things like that happen, man, you know, there would be more Kojima type studios.
Yeah,
right?
probably. You're right. Yeah.
There
like
needs to be.
It wouldn't be us, but somebody else could be like, hey, you know, I really like these games. Here,
it sounds funny, but like this is the only, you know.
But then that becomes an investor type situation again. Like,
I don't know. Maybe it should be like patronage style thing, where the guy's not your legal, subservient.
You know what? Crowdfunding. That's like kind of a, you know.
We should literally have patronage again.
Yeah.
You know, where you had like some rich guy paying for you to do stuff. You're like an artist or a scholar and you don't work, and this guy's like your patron. That existed for a lot of human history. Yeah, Confucius literally says, "I've never worked, therefore I've mastered the arts." You know what I mean? It's
just pay for it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't know. It sounds funny, but I think that financial freedom is the way that's either financial freedom or such financial despondence that you just don't care if it makes money. Like somebody making some indie, they've mortgaged their house like 4 times.
Which is hilarious because
right?
Microsoft could have just kept them going, but obviously chose
it's this mediocre middle ground where the thing is totally bound up in. Anyways, I think it's pretty clear what I'm trying to suggest. I hope more guys become these like, you know, game barons like Kojima with their own little fiefdoms. Nobody's involved.
Yeah, that's why I'm not against, you know, the whole auteur thing. What's that word?
The auteur, yeah. I think it's the French word for author, but I can't speak French well, so I say auteur.
Auteur, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm down for these guys.
Me too.
Miyazaki's, the Kojimas.
Of course. It's natural.
Let's do it. They make the best games, and I love them.
Yeah. That's another reason why this is so... This is the opposite of that. And
it's the exact opposite of that. It is, they are Microsoft. Xbox sucks. They
do. They suck. What can we say?
Well, yeah,
they do suck. They probably suck the most, but I do think everybody sucks now.
Yeah. AAA is dead.
Yeah, AAA is dead.
No,
AAA is dead.
It's very much a case-by-case basis where we'll have to look at any AAA games coming out to see if they're even worth diving into. And honestly, lately, even the ones I think are worth it, like Stellar Blade, I just haven't been...
Or Final Fantasy,
Or Final Fantasy, like, I haven't been, like, enthralled to, like, or, you know, whatever the word is. I haven't felt the desire to jump in and sink hours in.
Same.
Whereas then I picked up my 3DS the other day and I played Ocarina of Time for, like, 3 hours. Why? I don't know. It felt right.
No, I played a number of old games this year, and you know the funny thing is, I played Unicorn Overlord just a few weeks ago, and I love that game. I played it so much. I played in like 2 weeks. I played Stellar Blade for longer than that. You know, I can't play more than 45 minutes. Go look at my videos now.
It's true,
like, the other game, every time I sat down to play it, it'd be like 5 p.m. and I'd just be like, what the hell? It's 11 o'clock. What happened? You know?
That's crazy.
That's how you know you love it, right? Like it's so engaging for you as a game. Yeah.
I haven't felt that in like a while now for you know, some new AAA stuff. Maybe we're looking in the wrong places. But
for me, I've been playing all those FromSoft games. I felt nothing but that for months.
That's true.
And now I started to play these other games, and I'm like,
Last year I played through Bloodborne near the end of the year, and at the beginning of this year I played through Bloodborne. I didn't feel I played Dark Souls 1. I didn't feel anything, you know, like taking me away from it.
Yeah, I was on an incredible high
in it all the time. Yeah, and I should play 2 now.
Yeah,
and then Elden Ring DLC coming up soon, so that's awesome.
Yep. Metal Gear's doing it for me too, actually. 5 was really good. Yeah. I'm going to play Death Stranding again probably too.
Nice.
I think. I bet I could get through that in a couple of weeks too.
Stable of our favorite games. Our favorite creators.
Yeah.
It's all there.
Yeah. In any case, maybe we should shut her down, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you guys very much for tuning in. It's been a great time, and we'll be back to talk about Unicorn Overlord, about Stellar Blade sometime in the future.
But why Game Pass sucks as well.
Yeah, sure, of course. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.